But considering the mission that we're about, it's even, you know, a higher honor to be with you. And I would say this from a couple of respects, is that first off, I think the video showed something very special if you saw it, where the rabbi and the rabbi's family is all over. So you saw them on the campus, in the Capitol, north of the campus, out at Lake Ella, all over our community of Northeast Florida. And I would also, I hope this doesn't come across wrong, but when I'm with him, it's total chaos. I mean, they are wonderful to be with you. Wonderful with you. Thank you. And what I mean by that is there is incredible joy. There is a sense of the high expectations, or we're uncertain how everything may come in, but we're all in it together, and we all have a significant commitment. So it's just and all those children that are always running around you, it is just amazing. So let me just say from the standpoint that I know that these students at Florida State University, at Florida A&M, at Tallahassee Community College, they are in need of the guidance in their faith experience that is happening at this time in their life. And the rabbi's been incredibly generous to include me from time to time, and Passover Seder. The times you brought me in to visit, and I see the richness of this experience for students who I know are exploring, who are challenged, who are looking for that place in their life, for that fulfillment, and it's just beautiful. So I know the sacrifice is so generous and deep and real from you and your family. As I watch that play out. Secondly, it is that this is our capital, and I can, in my short time of being a part of this experience, we have made some of the most important public policy decisions that span far beyond Florida and the goodwill of Florida, but really across the globe in recognizing the deep and valued relationship our country has in the partnership with Israel. And again, what you have been able to do for us in allowing us to have a broad conversation and find confidence and find courage in matters that would go back to the divestment that we've spoken so much about, that we'd be the first state in the country that would begin this process of saying no to where we would invest our pension dollars into individuals, government that would have such horrific harm to humanity, begins because you all have created, and you're here tonight to explore how this mission can be even deeper. But I know it has been rich to those of us in public policy making, and we have found courage in you bringing us together. And then I would say lastly, it is our capital. So it's not just, by the way, you saw the rabbi in both the House and the Senate. And right now, both the House and the Senate could use somebody to be. If we're still taping, we might want to do some editing. But we all could use that coming together in prayer, because you heard his words. It was always speaking to that we would use all of our wisdom for the betterment of the Florida, so he has such broad respect. But it is the state capital, and therefore there is a high expectation that we're not just speaking of any particular grand metropolitan location in Florida. We're speaking about our capital. It's not just where public policy comes, but it is governance, and it is a sense of who we are as a state, who we are as a people, and what our legacies will be in time with how we administer governance in the state, and with the kind of humility and the kind of commitment to humanity. So, when the rabbi asked if I would come, I said absolutely, because I understand and have appreciated the role that with your energy and your organization, your commitment has been such a gift to us. And I know the plans are bold, and I know the dollars are significant. But I'd like to be a part, in whatever, one small way I can be a part of, what might be the long effort in seeing that the mission that you came to Tallahassee to deliver is in its grandest form achieved. Not unique for the vocational life and faith you have chosen, but because all of us are enriched by it. And I know this is not a one-night gathering. It's going to take all of us bringing in 1 or 2 more people, 5 more people who could look at this and join us in this effort. And I'm happy to. I'm not just happy. I'm actually honored to be a part of it. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Before we have this presentation for you, I'd like Mr. Book and Mr. Friedman to share a few words with us.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know.
Take a little bit to happen.
First of all, I want to always great to be here with CFO Atwater. So not only on around divestment and so many of the issues related to that you've had leadership. I can remember so many wonderful times when you were Senate President and there was some kosher meal program in Palm Beach. And I don't know if you remember, I don't know, there was this draconian across-the-board cut, and somehow this little kosher meal program that's been in the recurring base of the budget forever and ever sort of got swept up in it. And we went to see you, and you said this was crazy. Of course we're going to change that right away. But so many times that your humanity. The other unsung sort of hero is on Holocaust claims. The CFO's office, Lynn Goldman, who actually I went to high school with in Hollywood, who works in his office, has recaptured through the CFO's leadership, tens of millions of dollars from insurance companies and banks, and now artwork. And actually, our 4 Jewish family service agencies here in South Florida have a contract with the CFO's office to provide care as ombudsman to a lot of the Holocaust survivors. So, there's so many things in your office that you do, and we're so honored that you're here, and we really thank you. So I just want to thank you. So.
Very kind.
Bernie, how do you think you could be part of this steering committee?
Well, I think that we, obviously you're gonna have to evolve into someone into a chair, not me. So I have enough, but I'm happy to participate and to brainstorm, and I think that you really put your time and energy, and I've been to many of the functions and seeing the great smiling faces on the students, and we appreciate Derek's leadership.
Yeah.
He testifies before committees, and whenever I need it's very hard to get people from Miami to fly up on a day's notice or 3 days notice, and I call Derek, and he sends me a couple people to come and testify before committees. So, I think we need to identify more. I think that people also have to be a part of FSU, and maybe with President Thrasher.
He's on board.
Good. He's a spectacular, dynamic. He's an unbelievable leader. So I think that maybe working with his development team. I'm sure they have professional development people at FSU that maybe they could even identify after they've sort of tapped some of their donors for some of their things. People that give a little bit to many different causes are probably your best people because they're known donors. And we always say in politics, once you write one check, you're on the list and you're going to write lots of checks. So I think there's a finite list. We sort of know who the big donors are that
some people,
contributed.
and talking about donation, some people did ask me, couldn't be here with us this evening to announce the pledges on behalf of this evening. Dr. Hal Jacobson, from Central Florida, was a parent of a student, parent of an alumni, has pledged $100,000 towards the project. And Mr. Sanford Cohen of Tallahassee wants to announce a $50,000 pledge. Mr. Sviberger Milski also wants to announce a $50,000 pledge. Mr. Judah Holland also a $50,000 pledge. And Mr. Fred Galvet, $25,000. Simon Fadig already pledged $50,000, but he's considering dedicating the lobby for $360,000. So we're still talking with them about that. So one of the good things is that we need to move on and we need to get started. People like Fred Levin, when they see this thing get started and we already started ourselves, but now we need your help to move it forward so people see it's happening and they will give more. I do believe that Fred Levin will give a large donation to this, but he wants to see these things moving forward. So we do need the founders now to help us move this forward. The bank they promise us, we work with American Commerce Bank, that if we have written pledges, they will give us money on behalf of these pledges until these pledges come. So we have a very good start with that line.
Listen, I'm not much of a ditto kind of guy, as most of you know, but everything that Bernie said was really on the money. And I want to say to my friend, the Senate President, who I will always be the President, I can't get into calling him Chief Rabbi, sorry. Can't get into calling him CFO, sorry. He's the President, and he's always going to be the Senate President. But I would just say, Jeff, coming speaks volumes about your leadership and about the quality person that you are. I don't think that the Jewish community in Tallahassee or anywhere in the state has a better friend than you have been, and you know, you don't just stand up, you speak, and for that, I think all of us in the room, you know, need to say thank you to you, and for those that will come and as using the rabbi's words, and dwell there, I would simply say they'll be thanking you for helping to kick off the effort by just simply being present and saying we should all be involved. Rabbi, I'm not going to chair it, so don't ask me to. I'm not. I got my hands full with one or two or three things that I'm chairing already. But I'll be here to participate, and I will be part of the effort to help lead the way, but I won't chair it. So, but thanks for the offer. I appreciate it.
We have to get an honorable chair. So
I'm here to help, Rabbi.
Would the CFO be an honorable chair?
Of course.
Listen, here's what I would say. Here's what I would say. That he's here, you know, makes this just that much more meaningful.
Obviously, that's why he's here. And
Since Fred Karlinski isn't here, maybe we could just appoint him.
I'm with you.
Is that a motion? He's not here, right? I think there's a motion. As the honorary chair, just made the motion.
And if he knew that the Senate President made the motion,
right,
he would be quick to accept.
He's out of town, but he's part.
He's out of town, all right.
So we'll get this together.
I'd like to
we have
Short straw.
Marie Bloomstein with us. She's a parent of a student who just graduated, and what I find Randy Foreman is involved with Chabad. And I'm to share a few words about from the student perspective, from the student parents perspective, because Randy also has a son in FSU. It doesn't live too far from us, so go ahead.
Well, I am so honored that you invited me to come tonight, Rabbi. I really appreciate you thinking of me. I am so indebted to this man because he holds a very, very special place in my middle child's heart. My son Jake just graduated in May from FSU. He was in AEPI, and like most of the frat guys there, Friday night was the night everybody goes to, what's that bar on King?
One of those bars.
Which one?
You don't expect me to know, right?
My son spent many nights drinking away with all the guys and girls at Potts, and somehow he was drawn to the rabbi at one of the Jewish holidays, and he returned at a later date, and he said that the rabbi remembered him, called him by his name, and asked him to hold the Torah, and Jake was very honored, and from that point on, he became very involved in Chabad, and his senior year, he began going every Shabbat. There was no more pots. I could not reach my son, and I raised him in a reform home where I was probably not the best Jewish mom, Rabbi. Please forgive me, God. But my son and his siblings all are on very good paths. But I have to say that during the time Jake spent his senior year attending services and meeting with the rabbi,